All right. Well, good afternoon, Club 17, and welcome to another segment of Rotarian Spotlight. And I thought, as I've mentioned before, I thought it'd be a lot of fun to interview a variety of different Rotarians from a variety of different walks of life to get to know them better, because I think we all know each other, but sometimes we don't know all the intimate details about everybody. And today we're really fortunate to be joined by Wes Botto. And Wes is a relatively new member, but has made a really big impact so far in a short amount of time. So welcome today, Wes.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm excited to get on here and talk with you. So appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I've known Wes, I think, for I don't know, 3 years maybe, Wes, after you
Yeah,
started, you joined the organization,
right.
and really got to know you once you started getting involved with the UC Rotaract committee and leading that
Mhm.
committee, which has been a phenomenal success in a short amount of time. We'll get to that here in a few minutes. But just to start us off, Wes, tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe about your family, your career,
Yeah,
maybe some hobbies or interests.
yeah, great. Yeah, so born and raised in Northern Kentucky, Fort Thomas, and I've made my way back there, and so I'm living there now. And big UK fan, graduated from there, and
I'm sorry to hear that, Wes.
well, it's a rough time of year for sure for us. So I'm stuck watching old tapes of old games. So,
You
but
and me both.
it's funny how watching that though, and you actually get just as excited. Like you start to forget the ending and stuff. Um, but yeah, so big Cats fan, and went to UK for accounting, and then I started at Deloitte and did the CPA route there, and I was there for about 4 years, and and then I around the time I started having kids, Deloitte was just I was working quite a bit, and so not being home for like 3 months or not seeing my kid for like 3 months was just a little too much, and so I wanted something a little more flexible. And then I did a couple things for like about a year, and then one of those things was working with my dad, who's a financial planner, and so I got into this business because it's a relational business, and you just sit down with people and help them solve problems, and obviously I'm kind of a math guy with a CPA thing, and so the business really fit me well, and I really enjoy it a lot, and that's how I got started in that. But so as far as my family goes, my wife Haley and I have three kids, and they're 5, 4, and 2 years old. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting. This is my son. He's a big firefighter fan, and or fireman fan, and so he gives me the artwork for my office.
Well, I got to meet your family at the picnic last year, and
Right.
I
Yeah,
met your
that's
wife
right.
at a couple other events. But
Yeah.
what a fun family! I mean, your kids are just a delight to be around. So,
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's yeah. Sometimes I have to be reminded of that, so I appreciate that.
so tell us a little bit about what you've been up to since this crazy health crisis has been going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. So I happen to be at the office today, but I'm just about every day I'm working from home. And that's definitely been a challenge. Um, but yeah, challenge and opportunity to be with the family and figure out how to get things done at home. Maybe with a kid on my lap or something like that, or a kid screaming in the hall behind me. And being able to help out my wife a little bit more, eat lunch with the family, stuff like that. We've been working on like some new rhythms, walks with the kids or whatever during the day. We take turns, and so every kid is excited when it's their turn for the day. But yeah, we're pretty much just lying at home, um, and nothing exciting. About the most exciting thing is when every once in a while I'll take a drive. Like, all right, kids, you get to get out of the house. Let's go take a drive. Roll the windows down, and maybe we'll stop at my parents' house and let them say hey from a distance, whatever. But it's
Exactly.
been pretty boring, just like everybody else, I guess.
I think we're all in the same boat together here,
Yep.
unfortunately.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
well, tell us a little bit about when you became a Rotarian and maybe some of the reasons why you joined and why you still remain a member.
Yeah, yeah. So I got connected to a guy named Rick Flynn through another contact, and it's funny because we met regarding a mutual client, and um, it was funny. I tell this story all the time that I think we talked about like business related stuff for like a few minutes. And then Rick was way more excited to talk about Rotary than than that stuff. And so he got to the crux of it. He's like, all right, now really the reason I want to talk to you is I think you, so he got me plugged in, and yeah, that's how I got into the club. And yeah, and so it was a great start. He's brought in a number of people, so he knows how to get people plugged in, and that really helped out a lot.
I think at last count he's brought in maybe 29 or 30 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. It's
you're part of
impressive.
his fraternity, I think.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
But one of the things that I've been proud of what you've done over the last few years is that you really grabbed the UC Rotaract committee and took it by the bull by the horn, so to speak. And at one point it was a group that had over 100 members in it. And because of leadership changes and that type of thing, it kind of dwindled down. And you really had to rebuild it. So tell us a little bit about what you did there, and you're still obviously involved with that, and where you've taken it and where it is right now.
Yeah, yeah. So the UC Rotaract Club, I'll tell you that when I first joined, I had a period of maybe like 6 months or so after I joined where I wasn't super involved. And maybe it was even longer than that. I mean, there were many times where I wasn't attending very many meetings. And as a young person, I'm trying to build my career, and with family stuff or whatever, it was just difficult to come. So I felt really fortunate that when there was a time to appoint people for committees and chairman of committees and things, that I forget who it was. It was probably Rick or Brett or you or somebody that they reached out and said, "Hey, I think you'd be great for this." And so I thought, yeah, that'd be sure. And really, I was not doing a whole lot at that point. And so what happened there then was that I took a lot more responsibility, obviously, for that part of the club. But then it allowed me to get involved, and I mean that's how I got to know you, because you volunteered to come to some events, and I got to know a lot of other Rotarians through that. So that's how it kind of ended with my membership, and how it's really got me a lot more involved and a lot more passionate about the club and what the opportunities that are there. And as far as the UC Rotaract Club itself, yeah, I mean when we along with the committee, we showed up at one of the I guess it's a club fair on camp, and there's over 150 plus clubs at UC. Every club had a little table. I think we weren't even like technically registered. We just kind of threw a table in there, and but we had 0 members at that time. We were just kind of trying to advertise to people, hey, Rotary is here, UC Rotaract Club, and talk to people about it. And fortunately, people recognize the Rotary symbol. And as a new member, that was cool for me to see as well. That because I honestly, before I joined the club, the symbol did not mean a ton to me, but it meant a lot to particularly international students, because Rotary has such a big presence internationally. So anyways, yeah, that's how we kind of got it started up again. And there's a lot of students that are passionate about kind of bringing it back, and it's been difficult because we are competing with every other club on campus, including fraternities, sororities, but I will say that in terms of the quality of the students that are there, super high quality. I mean, all of them, they put me to shame in terms of like the caliber of student. I mean, when they've got their like in their email signature, all their different scholarships they got and all these different things. and then they go off and get jobs, and, really great jobs and things. So it's been a lot of fun to interact with them. I wanted to do it because as a young person, and I'm young, and I like to say that I look even younger, or people will remind me all the time. And so I'm walking around on campus and people just think I'm a student. And so that's actually one area where it benefits me to look so young. And so I enjoy interacting with them, being just maybe a step or two beyond them in terms of life experience, and hopefully get to mentor them and just help them in any way possible. And so, yeah, I have enjoyed it a ton. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, from afar, I think that they feel like you're very relatable, which I think is huge in that role. So,
Yeah.
Keep
Great.
doing the great work you're doing. It's
Yeah.
really making a difference.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Last question, I guess, is with this crisis that we're all involved with.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how you feel like that you think our club should maneuver through that, both internally and externally.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting question. So I think things like this are great, just staying in touch. Um, another part, I might not have answered this part of the question before when you asked about like me becoming a member, but also staying a member. The reason I've stayed a member, and it's related to this question, is because you probably remember, it was maybe about a year ago or so. It's crazy how time flies, but one of my kids was really sick, and she, it was like she was just had a serious infection, basically. She was in the hospital. I just sent a very simple note to Linda just saying, hey, I won't be at the meeting today. Like, I think I had said I was going to be there, and then I wasn't there. So I just said, I'm not there because of this. Well, she, I guess, told people about her. There was an announcement or something. I can't tell you how many people in Rotary told me that they were praying for me, praying for her, praying for the family, or just, a kind note of encouragement. And that meant a ton to me, people that I did not know. And now they tell me they're thinking about us and praying for us. That meant a ton. So I think little stuff like that, even, there's no reason that things like that can't continue. So we can use Facebook, we can use, it doesn't even have to be social media, just texting our friends within Rotary about what's going on. I think we can still look out for each other and still be there for each other in good times and bad. Because I would imagine there are probably some people in the club that are having really rough times, whether it's, there's a ton of business owners that are having to lay off people. And that is, it's such a difficult thing to do, or whether you're on the receiving end of that and being furloughed and, working through these things. So I think we can be there for each other. That has meant a ton to me. And that is a big reason why I stay in the club, is because I see that people truly care about me in this club. And that's not the same, other social or networking clubs. Like, I don't think that I would be getting that type of response to a kid being sick.
I think we're definitely a family. There's no doubt about it.
Sure.
So
yeah, definitely.
And I think, Rotarians, that after hearing Wes talk a little bit today, I think you've gotten a really good understanding of why he's really an active Rotarian, number one, but number two, that he's accomplished so much in such a short amount of time. And I personally feel like you have a really bright future within the club.
Well, thank you.
So I really appreciate you taking the time together and to be with us today and getting to know you better and sharing some of your insights.
That's great. Yeah, thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me. Anybody that wants to talk more about the Cats, feel free to reach out. We can watch an old tape. How about an old game? How about that?
Sounds good. Well, you have a good one. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Take care, Rotarians, and we'll talk next time.